Hello, my name is Jeff Call. These are some boards I did on Nimona, which is a movie still due to come out, I think, in 2021. This is a scene where the two main characters, Ballister Blackheart, a disgraced knight turned potential villain, but not really, is has just he's just crashed a parade and he's headed back to his secret lair where he can do villainous stuff, but really he's just trying to clear his name. Meanwhile, he's being followed by Nimona, who is a character who's just seen him, who's just seen a kindred spirit and wants to sort of be cool as well, just like Ballister. And so it starts with the news after the parade, the news, and Tilly Topper, one of the news anchors, says, "Who is Ballister Blackheart?" And we click on it, and then lightning, and then there's a statue, and it's raining, and then we hear a so much lightning. He's so cool. Meanwhile, here's Nimona in the form of a bird. She's a shape changer, so she's flying overhead, and she's flying in and watching him. And then she looks ahead as the trees sort of part as she's heading there. And there's his sort of this fallen castle, and that's his secret lair. And more lightning. He rides in, leaps off his horse, and is on his way. And then she sort of flies behind this wall here, and comes out and peeks around. Whoa. He comes up to this door that's been barred off, and no one's allowed in. And he comes over here and flips up this fake brick and looks around, make sure he's not being followed. And then he puts his eye up to an eye scanner. And behind him, the door opens and he goes inside. And then she peeks around. He's so cool. And then this light comes on. He's down inside his sanctum as he's heading down the hallway. And then she's up above, like coming up as the doors close. And then meanwhile, he's heading down these stairs, past this gargoyle. And then she's coming in, and she's just like he's so cool. And then she steps on this plate. It's a booby trap. And she's like, do, 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 do. And she kind of looks around. She realizes, oh, which way did he go? I don't know where he is. And then he comes through. Dun, 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 dun. Obviously, music would have been playing this whole time. Really dramatic Danny Elfman music. Dun, 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 dun. He goes through and he puts his arm in the vise because it's kind of broken. He needs to fix it. And he sets this clock, this alarm clock, and sets it down. Pushes a button on a keyboard, which activates this arm, which comes around. He sticks his hand in the vise, his arm in the vise, and it's sparking. And he spins this thing around, and then the arm comes up above and gets turns on, and then he puts on goggles, and it's working. Meanwhile, Nimona is going through this portion, which was never actually fleshed out because then the scene got rewritten. But she sees his monitoring station with all the things. The news is on. KTV is now learning that today's parade villain was a former knight in training and a rival of Ambrosius Golden Loin, Ballister Blackheart. And she's like, "Whoa, he's cool. He's so cool." And she's peeking around, and maybe she's like, "Oh, what? It's just a kitchen, and there's yogurt. What? He's not quite living up to everything she thought he was going to be." Assumed dead, Blackheart is known for trying to cheat his way to a knight's guard through dark magic. You may remember his attempt to sabotage Sir Goldenloin only to blow off his own arm. She's like, whoa, blow off his own arm. And sure enough, there's the original armor that he was wearing when his arm got blown off, which is super cool. And she has maybe this sort of like, Ballister has this sort of conspiracy thing where he's got all these little notations of the lance as it exploded and how it happened. And it looks very CSI. And meanwhile, and then she goes in here and they're, oh man, it looks like this. Oh, and the news it's this pun, right? It looks like this guy would do anything to get the upper hand, and she's looking around and she's like, whoa. And meanwhile, she picks up like his old wooden prototype arm. She's using it as a back scratcher. She's walking around. Absolutely dastardly. I know, Tilly, usually I'd ask what that evil villain's plan is, but I think it's pretty clear in these old newspaper clippings, and then Ballister Blackheart is back to finish what he started. And she's walking around and she's in the same space as him, and then she looks and there's this red glow comes upon her. And kill Goldenloin once and for all. And it's this weird murder conspiracy wall. It's very creepy. There's a picture of Goldenloin. It's very, very strange. And she's looking at it. She's like, whoa. I mean, here's this. Flips around. She's gone. Flips around. Your new sidekick, reporting for duty. He's like, what? Huh? I mean, henchman would probably be more in theme, but I don't want to be saddled with man. And listen, you can't just be in here. Here, you probably need this more than I do. And hench person just sounds kind of bad, you know? Listen, little girl! Nimona. Nimona. Hi, nice to meet you. How did you get in here? I like your murder wall. It's not a murder wall. Hey, where do you keep your markers? Never mind, found them. Listen, you can't just be in here. And then as he leaps out and he lunges forward to grab her, we hear... And we turn and he's come out of his arm socket. And he's like... And this thing's going on. And he's like, oh, crap. Sticks it back in. I like where your villainous plan is at. But now that you have a sidekick, you should... No, Nimona! Fine. Hench person. No, that's not what I mean. See? It's bad, right? Ugh. Great minds. No, Nimona, I don't need... And then the front suddenly hit the alarm clock that he set off earlier. It starts ringing. And it starts going off. And he can't reach because his arm's locked in. And I don't need a sidekick. Or a squire. It's still going. Ugh. And all of a sudden, it's in front of his face, and takes it, smashes it, stops ringing. I don't need an intern. Where? Nor do I need an assistant or a page or an understudy. Where? Maybe if you say what I'm not looking for, right there. And he starts snapping, doing that thing, pointing and snapping. Or a paralegal, and it's a remote control, which she then hands to him. A stunt double, and he's trying to turn on the screen, and his thumbs, and it's not working, and she kind of takes it from him and looks at, there's no batteries. And he's like, well, right there. And I certainly don't need a hench, alternate positive and negative. Okay. There, hench anything, and he finally hits the thing, and it turns on the screen. See, you say that, and she starts talking, but meanwhile, what he's focused on is Goldenloin, who's on the news, and we have every night in the Institute hot on Blackheart's tail. Never fear, we will find him. And she's still, and he rides off to go look for Ballister Blackheart. And so you see, I could be a real asset. Yes! And she's like, yes? He's like, yes! And they're clearly talking about different things, and she's like, yes! And she scoots away on the chair, and he hits the keyboard, undoes his arm out of the vise. My plan is working flawlessly. The big flaw in this plan is and she's busy scribbling as he walks away, is fire. And he's like, this brief window is all one person needs to... With two people, you have your accelerant and your catalyst. I'll show them real villainy. And he stalks off. Dun, 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 dun. The kid, Nimona! He comes over. Hey! What? Oh, it's time. Yes! I think you'll... Meanwhile, outside, like these additions I've thrown in here. And then from above, we hear like a jet, like airplane jets up above. And we look up above, and there's this cool like batwing thing up above. It's Ballister's special like ship that flies. And he's off into the clouds. He's so cool. That's the end. Call, and this is another scene from Nimona. This is a second version of the first scene that I did. That was then the whole first act went into rewrites as these things happen, and then this is another version. In this version, Ballister starts the movie with an arm and then loses it in the jousting accident, and he's framed sort of as the villain. And at one point he wakes up. Oh, and then Nimona, the shapeshifter, she saves his life and brings him to this abandoned castle or mansion somewhere. Anyway, when this scene starts, we see the ground, and then it's a zombie crawling out of the TV towards us. And sure enough, it's a 3D projector. And she's like, oh... And we hear the zombie movie, and the people, ah! And then, And then in the background, we see Mrs. Ballister standing up and coming to. And she's like, oh, I'll take aim. And then, oh, no more zombies. And then, she peeks over back to where Ballister was, and there's no one there. And she goes back in. Wait a minute. Ah! Oh, sorry. Oh, and she turns it off, pauses the movie, and he's like, I had the craziest dream. A pink gorilla and an otter doctor. And these are actually things that he saw. But well, their claws have excellent dexterity for, I mean, wow, weird. You must have been pretty out of it. What happened? She's like, come on over here. Good question. Have a seat. Come on over here. He comes over here and he sits down. It's a lot to take in. She drags up a chair. So, I made you this pamphlet. Boom! Drops this big bunch of pages onto his lap, and he's looking, where? Well, if you move the chair forward. If you look at page 1, you'll see this is an abandoned castle on the outskirts of the kingdom. And after doing some literal digging, I'm pretty confident saying it belonged to a blind monk. But he retired to his beach house. Who? I'm Nimona, your squire, or if you're ready for a rebrand, she comes over to sit next to him, your sidekick. What do we think? I think I must have a head injury. Listen, Nimona. Nimona? Nice to meet you. She takes his other arm. But what? On to page 3. My favorite. These are all the cool things we can do together. 1 outcast is sad, but 2 are like a super private best friend gang. I'm talking dance parties, adventures, Taco Tuesdays. That's the sicko robot arm you're going to get. See the grappling hook? Grappling hook? Grappling hook, spear gun, dealer's choice. And he's like, my arm. And then suddenly, like, we flash to the bandage. He remembers the joust, where he lost his arm, right? And he stands up. The pages all go scatter, and he gets up, and he's got to get out of here. And she leaps forward. Where do you think you're going? I need to talk to Golden Loin. She looks over there at his armor that's waiting, and he's heading over, and she says, oh, I don't think so. He'll understand. We can get this all cleared up. I didn't want to have to do this. She grabs the remote control, turns on the TV, and meanwhile, we have just program after program of people talking about, and she's flipping through it, of people talking about Blackheart and what he's done, and we see him through the screen, and as this is going on. And then finally, she realizes he's had enough of hearing all this, and she turns off the screen. And then Ballister goes, they think I tried to kill Golden Loin? He needs to sit down at the thought of this, and he moves over, and no, I need to explain. I need to fix this. And Nimona says, I hate to break it to you, boss, but there's no fixing it. Once people decide you're one way, you can't change their minds. But you can channel your rage into satisfying outlets. Karate, kickboxing, befriending squirrels to replace people who left you until the squirrels also leave you, so then you just explode some rocks to feel anything again. And of course, board games. And Ballister's gone. And he's gone. And that's the scene.